Hey everyone. So there is so much destabilizing energy in the air right now. And we had that full moon in Taurus on Friday, conjuncting or joining up with the planet Uranus, the planet of shakeup and change. So a full moon bringing change, especially to our routines, our sense of stability, our sense of what is normal with the Taurus moon energy. So we also have multiple oppositions happening right now that are bringing contradictions into our experience of reality, as well as the planet Pluto about to make its final shift into Aquarius coming up on Tuesday. So let's talk about that. I'm Marina Orms here with your Astro perspective for Sunday, November 17th. Interesting and exciting times we live in. Some feel frightened or confused, maybe overwhelmed, isn't maybe another word for it, by these changes that are happening. How do we make sense of it? How do we understand what's going on, what it means for us? And part of the key here is really to let go of your need for understanding, for control. The forces of change are in motion, and what that change will look like, we don't know. You can probably find answers depending on where you look for your information. And that's one of the themes we want to really be paying attention to right now is where we are getting information. Are you in an information bubble? Are you looking for something that validates what you already believe? Or are you reaching out, branching out, checking other sources of information, understanding what other people might be saying or thinking that are outside of your bubble? And we are all human beings, right? So, this ability that we have as human beings to connect one-on-one or in groups, but in that human way, right? To remember that, hey, we are all human beings here. And so we may disagree, we may have different perspectives, we may see things differently, but there are things that connect us. There are ways that we can find common ground, can find what we do agree on, or we're just willing to be human and kind to one another. And there's a lot of power in that, in keeping it real, keeping it human, really not losing touch with who we are and what's important to us. So, and right at that deeper level of what we want for ourselves, our families, our communities, and ultimately all beings. So, looking at these final days of Pluto in Capricorn, we have the completion of really the last 2 days of this time of Pluto in Capricorn, bringing these changes I've been talking about in terms of our systems, our structures, our institutions, our infrastructure, our willingness to look at authority and how we expect authority to, some authority that is outside of ourselves. We have that expectation that authority will provide for us, will protect us, will take care of things in the same way that Capricorn Saturnian energy shows up when we talk about father energy in the family, which again is not necessarily technically the male patriarch, but it's that energy of how we feel that sense of safety and being provided for and being taken care of by someone who has the authority. So that father figure energy, that spirit of counting on the structures, the government, the political systems, the norms and infrastructures in institutions that we have counted on. So if we think of this as the Pluto and Capricorn time, being this, especially the final, it's Pluto at 29 degrees Capricorn, where it has been since September 1st. And not only that, but Pluto has spent time in that final degree of Capricorn for many months, cumulatively over the course of 2023 and 2024. We have this bringing to the surface of what it is we have needed to see, what was under the surface that we were not conscious of, not dealing with, not really acknowledging. And so this bringing of what it has been in the shadows into the light of day, into where we can see it, begin to grapple with it, begin to make choices that come from this new awareness. And so we've got that Pluto in Capricorn energy completing in these final days, really bringing up these themes of where am I giving over my power, right? Handing my power to someone else versus remembering who I am and what my power is as an individual with my community, together in community with others who are like-minded or working toward a common cause. So remembering our power. And as we shift into Pluto in Aquarius on Tuesday, November 19th at 12:30 p.m. Pacific time, Pluto makes that shift from Capricorn into Aquarius. And this time, Capricorn will stay in Aquarius until 2043. So we have had a peek, a glimpse of what that Aquarian energy looks like with Pluto in Aquarius from January 20th this year until September 1st of 2024. So January 20th to September 1st, 2024, we've had this Pluto in Aquarius energy. We had themes of rights, freedoms. What is it we care about? What do we want for the future? Progressive values, breaking free of old constructs and old restrictions, the limitations of Capricorn. So that energy of feeling that freedom. And one of the things I said as we headed into this final Capricorn Pluto period was it's going to feel like all those hopes and dreams that we had are no longer viable. And I wish I wasn't so very right sometimes about certain things, but or it wasn't as extreme as I couldn't have anticipated that. But here we are with remember that we are in a present moment that has a particular feeling, it has a particular quality. It doesn't mean it will always feel like that. And perhaps, I don't know the bigger picture, but perhaps there is something that is truly becoming unearthed, something that is coming to the surface, coming into consciousness because it really needs to. So how do we work with this energy? How do we work with this time of uncertainty and change? I do have an upcoming live webinar I'm going to tell you about at the end of this video, but some things we can look at in that live webinar, we can connect a little more in the human connection where we can have that experience of being together live. But for now, looking at here are some other factors going on right now. And we have, as I mentioned, these oppositions. And oppositions in astrology mean, well, what they mean literally is that planets are at opposite sides of the zodiac, and the zodiac is a circle. So when you have points on opposite sides of a circle, um, they are really at different ends of a spectrum. And so uh, signs that are opposite one another create, maybe two sides of the same coin kind of experience. But oppositions also create this feeling of contradiction, this feeling of either or. So either this must be true or something else must be true. And they can't both be true, right? So there's this feeling of here's an answer, but I can also find the exact opposite answer if I am looking for it. And how do we reconcile these polar opposites? So we've got an opposition between the sun and Uranus. That is a fairly, all of these are fairly quick moving alignments, with the exception that I'll talk about of the Mars Pluto opposition. So Sun and Uranus opposite is bringing these themes of shake up to our normal, shake up to reality, which is Uranus in Taurus. Uranus in Taurus is a multi-year placement. It's been there for, I don't remember the exact date, but it's been there for years now, and will be going into Gemini next year. So it's got to be around 7 years, because that's about how long Uranus stays in a sign. So we've got that shakeup to our normal, our comfort zone, right? Needing to find a new normal, need to think about reality in new and different ways. Things will not look the same as they did. And this is another thing I've been saying all along, is that change means that a new reality is forming. So the sun opposing Uranus in Taurus, the sun is in Scorpio. We are in a Scorpio moon cycle that began with the Scorpio new moon. So we've got this scorpionic energy of deeper transformation, a transformative process, letting go of the old, and not sure yet what we are becoming. So we have that destabilizing energy, that energy of change that can feel uncomfortable, especially because we know the old way that we knew how things worked, right? And it's hard when you don't know how things work anymore. So we also have Mercury opposing Jupiter. Mercury in Sagittarius opposing Jupiter in Gemini. So this dynamic, this polarity, this contradiction in terms of information, facts, beliefs and belief systems, and really looking at and questioning your thinking, which is Mercury, and what beliefs that thinking comes from, which is Jupiter. So pulling us in two directions, allowing us to see, oh, hey, I could believe this, but also I could believe the opposite, and I can find validation for both beliefs. Say, for example, I'm worried that the world is going to hell, and I can find validation for that belief. But simultaneously, I can also find, if I'm looking in the right places, validation for the feeling or the idea that everything's going to be okay, right? The fact is, we don't know. And it's really important, no matter what you believe or, what is important to you, finding that place where you are recognizing that things are changing, and in this soup of transformation, there is all there is your own ability to be who you are and to do what you do well. And that is what becomes really important in times like this. So living according to your own truth, your own authenticity, offering self-care first, because when you take care of yourself and your own needs, then your batteries are charged so you can be there for others and show up and take a stand and speak up for what you want to say, right? What's important to you. Okay, then we also have an opposition with Mars and Pluto. So that Mars Pluto opposition was exact in Capricorn Cancer just before the November 5th election. So I believe it was November 3rd when that exact opposition came into alignment. And Mars Pluto energy is intense. It's Mars is the energy of fighting, of aggression, of action, of decision making, decisiveness. And Pluto is that deeper energy of truth and being, in this sort of Plutonian underworld of transformation where you might have to confront some of your deepest fears. So that opposition is not done. It will form exactly again in January and I believe March of 2025. So we've got this ongoing energy of that Pluto Mars opposition, of this feeling that we have to fight for what's important to us, and at the same time what's important to us might be changing, feeling our power, feeling our powerlessness, all of it. And so I would say that in summary, this is a time of letting go of what your old ways of coping. I mean, keep your coping mechanisms, like whatever you need to get through the day, but your old belief systems, your old understanding about who you are and what your role is in the world, because that is changing, and not necessarily in a bad way. It could be that who you are is being asked to blossom, right? And to come to fruition. So stepping up into who you are here to be, there's no reason why you can't do that. You may have to adjust some of your thinking about what that is or what it looks like or what you thought it would look like, but being who you are is what you are here to do. And this is our human journey that we are, right? Whatever we're experiencing is what we're experiencing. And that's true in the moment. It doesn't mean it will always be true. And if we live according to our fears versus living according to our power, our truth, our place of empowerment, our sense of knowing who we are, we have that choice. And I would say, like, don't think too big in the big picture in terms of like what makes you feel overwhelmed. Keep it real. Uh, Connect with the earth, connect with your friends, connect one-on-one, connect with what brings beauty and pleasure into your life. Really a lot more powerful than those things might seem. So there's keeping it out of the big picture of the place of overwhelm where you might be, you know, having a tendency to spiral into fears of the future. Bring it back to the present moment. Bring it back to who you are, what you need to do today, what's right in front of you. And at the same time, there is a bigger picture of truth that things will change over time. The planets remind us that these cycles change. They don't always feel the same way that they did, yesterday or last year. So remember that change can bring in positive change as well. And so I guess not dwelling too much on the big picture in terms of what you're afraid of, but also remembering that there is a big picture of creativity. And creativity can begin with how you take care of yourself today, right now, in this moment, what you need to say and do and share, and really being aware again of how you are getting your information, where that information is coming from, and checking other sources, checking other outside perspectives. What can give you a more well-rounded or more complicated view of reality is probably more true and more accurate than the ones that feel like simple, easy answers, whether they are the ones that we are the most scared of, or whether they are the ones that we want to believe because it makes us feel okay. So watch for both of those ends of the spectrum, right? It shouldn't feel completely overwhelming and scary, and it also shouldn't feel really easy and okay. And here you are in the scorpionic mess of mystery, of dealing with the unknown and what it means and what it looks like to be human in a process of change. So, Pluto going into Aquarius will bring some more of these themes of freedom, of breaking through, breaking free, what that will look like. I I don't have all the answers, but I know that Aquarian energy really supports, and with Pluto, which is power, power is in the people. Power is in what it means to be an individual, what it means to work in communities. So, building communities, strengthening communities, um, taking action with a community, grassroots movements, very powerful. We are entering the era where the government is no longer really that, and that idea of a patriarchal central figure is going to either one save us or be harm us, right? We're moving out of that. We're moving into this place where we as individuals really need to remember what power we have and how to use that power, and think strategically, think outside the box, approach things in a way that isn't, is both acknowledging reality and acknowledging fact, and also recognizing that there is a path of creative transformation available to us. So that's what I've got to share with you today. I want to invite you to this webinar on Tuesday, November 19th. The webinar is going to be held during the time when Pluto goes into Aquarius. So powerful timing, and it's an opportunity for us to come together, to have that live engagement. I am so looking forward to that, and really also to deepen some of what I do here with you, and to look at how you can think about these energies in your life, what the outer planets and the universe has to say about the bigger picture that's playing out, some key ways to take care of yourself, and think about how you can show up powerfully for yourself and your community and what you want, your vision for the future. And also remembering that this time of uncertainty can be so creative, if we think about it in terms of our power and how to approach and work with these energies to be from that place that is generative, creative, where we can have an opportunity to shape the future. And the stakes feel high right now. And remember, that's how it feels in the moment, but it's also important to remember that there's something here to learn about who we are and how to move forward. So if you're feeling confused, feeling overwhelmed, join me on Tuesday. It's $15 to attend the webinar, super affordable. And that allows us to dive a little deeper into an understanding of these energies, how to work with them, and to feel the support of one another. You'll be able to ask me questions to feel that connection together. It's a really special opportunity that I am looking forward to in terms of being able to connect and able to think about these things at deeper levels and really dive into the weeds in terms of how to apply what we are learning here. So check out the link to sign up for the webinar is in the description for this video. It's also available on my website, astrologyheals.com. I'm Marina Orms. I've been doing astrology for 30 years. It has never let me down. And so let's listen to what it has to say. And I hope you will join me for this special opportunity to connect live. Tuesday, November 19th at noon Pacific time. That's 3 p.m. Eastern. There is a link in that if you click on the link to sign up for the webinar, there's a link to check your time zone if you're in a different country, etc. And thank you so much for being a subscriber to this YouTube channel and for following me. I will continue to be here. And if you join me in this webinar, we can dive a little deeper to explore possibilities together. All right, hope you can be there, and thanks for being here. I will see you next time with more astrology for unshakable self-care. Bye for now.